The intergalactic library ship Nexus of Knowledge hung in the void between star systems, a repository of 10,000 civilizations' wisdom. Ilara had been its sole human librarian for 3 cycles now, and she loved every moment of it, even the challenging ones. Today was particularly challenging. She balanced a towering stack of data crystals and ancient paper texts in her arms, navigating the zero-gravity corridors with practiced ease. The other species aboard used anti-grav sleds for such tasks, but Ilara insisted on doing things the old-fashioned way, as she called it. It kept her connected to the materials, she'd explained to the bewildered crew. "Careful, librarian Ilara," chittered Vrix, a young Kethran who'd recently joined as her assistant. The small fox-like alien watched from a nearby perch, his 4 eyes blinking in concern. "That stack exceeds recommended carrying parameters by 47%. Ilara grinned. "I've got it, Vrix. Humans are stronger than we—" Her foot caught on a loose floor panel. Time seemed to slow. The stack wobbled. Ilara's arms windmilled as she fought against momentum and microgravity. Books and crystals began to float free, scattering in all directions like startled birds. "No, no, no!" Ilara lunged for a particularly ancient manuscript, a first-edition collection of Terran poetry from before the expansion, but her trajectory was wrong. She slammed into a bulkhead with a sickening crunch. Vrix watched in horror as the human crumpled, clutching her ankle. Red fluid, blood his database helpfully supplied, seeped through her fingers. Around them, priceless knowledge items drifted away into the vast library corridors. "I'm okay," Ilara gasped, though her face had gone pale. Just help me gather." "You are injured," Vrix's ears flattened. "I am calling medical." "The books first," Ilara insisted, trying to stand and immediately collapsing again. "Some of those are irreplaceable. The poetry collection, the Xandrian star charts, I will retrieve them," Vrix promised, already activating his comm. "But you need medical now." Within minutes, the medical drone arrived and sedated Ilara despite her protests. As they carried her away, Vrix heard her mumbling about catalog numbers and proper storage temperatures. The young Kethran stood alone in the corridor, surrounded by floating books and crystals. His whiskers twitched. Humans were strange. Any other species would have called for help immediately, would have prioritized their injury. But Ilara's first thought had been for the knowledge she'd been carrying. Vrix made a decision. He activated the station-wide juvenile channel, the frequency used by the younglings of various species who lived aboard the Nexus while their parents worked. Within the hour, 43 cubs, kits, hatchlings, and spawn of 17 different species gathered in Corridor 7. "Listen," Vrix addressed them solemnly. "The human librarian was injured protecting our knowledge. She fell, hurt herself badly, and still her only concern was for the books. This is not normal behavior." A Draxian hatchling raised a tentacle. "My parent says humans are crazy." "No," Vrix's tail lashed. "Not crazy, dedicated, noble. And now she cannot work for many cycles while she heals. But the library still needs protecting. The knowledge still needs guardians." He looked around at the assembled younglings. "I propose we help. We are small, but we are many. We can reach places the adults cannot. We can form teams to patrol, to organize, to ensure nothing is damaged or lost. Who will join me?" The response was immediate and overwhelming. By dawn, or what passed for dawn on a ship that sailed between stars, the library guard team was operational. Vrix organized them with surprising efficiency. The Kethran kits, with their natural agility, took the upper shelves. The Draxian hatchlings, able to interface directly with digital systems, monitored the data crystal archives. The human children, 5 of them, their eyes shining with fierce pride, took charge of the physical book collections, handling the delicate pages with reverence they'd learned from Ilara. They created schedules, patrol routes, and emergency protocols. The young Varxian, whose species could see into infrared, spotted a coolant leak in the rare manuscript section that could have caused catastrophic damage. A Solian kit discovered a miscatalogued star map worth more than the ship itself. When Ilara returned 4 cycles later, her ankle in a regeneration brace, she stopped at the library entrance in shock. The space was pristine. Not only had everything been returned to its proper place, but the organization had been improved. Color-coded markers indicated priority items. New safety protocols were posted on every wall. And stationed at various points throughout the vast chamber were young aliens of a dozen species, wearing hastily made sashes that read "Library Guard" in multiple languages. Vrix approached, standing straight with pride. "Welcome back, Librarian Alara. We have maintained your library." Ilara's eyes filled with tears. "Vrix, you did all this?" "Not just me." He gestured to the assembled younglings, who were trying very hard to look professional. "We learned from you. You showed us that knowledge is worth protecting, worth fighting for, worth getting hurt for. So we decided to fight too, in our own way." A human child, no more than 7 standard years old, stepped forward. "You always said the library belongs to everyone, Miss Ilara, so we figured everyone should help protect it." Ilara knelt down carefully, favoring her injured ankle, and pulled the child into a hug. Then she opened her arms wider, and suddenly she was surrounded by a swarm of young aliens, all chattering and chirping and humming with excitement as they told her about everything they'd done. Captain Thex, watching from the doorway with several other adult crew members, shook his massive head. "Humans," he rumbled to his first officer. "They slip and fall and somehow inspire a revolution." "Not a revolution, sir," the officer corrected, watching Alara laugh as a Catherine kit climbed onto her shoulder. "A legacy." The Library Guard team would continue their duties for years to come, eventually becoming an official institution aboard the Nexus of Knowledge. And Alara, despite healing fully, never again carried more books than she could safely manage. She didn't need to. She had an army of tiny guardians who'd learned from her example that some things, knowledge, truth, beauty, were worth protecting at any cost, even if it meant a human had to slip and fall to teach them that lesson.